5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sync.
Hello, everyone. This time I get to do the
Mardi Gras.
introduction.
Mardi Gras.
Morty.
Impressive. So for the majority of people that can read, you can probably already tell what this video is. We are going to be talking about the
Lego
infamous,
Batman.
the very recently released, the Lego Batman movie. Let's do the introductions. I'm LJ.
I'm Messa.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Ben.
And I'm purple.
And let's waste no time. What do we think, guys?
Oh, first,
Well,
let's
it was
be
me.
clear. We're going to do a spoiler-free discussion here at first, so you haven't seen the movie. Don't worry. This will be our, should you go, should you not go.
Mainly because we
Then-
understand it's new and not everybody will see it. Some people will
Right.
wait to see it with friends or whatever on the weekend.
Right. And then we'll have a spoiler, ific whole deal afterwards, and we'll make it very clear we're going to spoiler territory, so you
If
should
you're
go
just
see the movie
listening, it will
for
be
that.
quite blatant, and if you want to check
Yeah.
the description, there will be a mark when we actually start talking about spoilers.
Yeah.
So
And I think, Master, we could do it too. We could put, an actual spoiler thing in the video, so
we'll
if
do
you're just
that.
kind of browsing around, you can see where that is. Cool. All
It'll
right,
be
so
big and
non-spoilers now,
blatant.
spoilers later.
Yeah.
Real quick, anyone have anything you want to talk about before we get into the movie?
Before we actually get into the movie, I was just like, number one, it was really awesome seeing the Ninjago movie trailer.
Oh, I
wanna
love
talk
that
about
so
that. Okay,
much. I
listen.
always not gonna lie, when I was younger and Ninjago was still a new thing, I was always like, whoa, it'd be so cool if there was a Ninjago movie and they played a trailer in the theater and there it is.
Here was the cool thing
Pretty
for
awesome.
me. I was in the theater and I sat next to a bunch of high school kids. Which one is great that a bunch of high school kids decided to go out to see a Batman and it's
Yeah.
resonating that level. But the moment that not even the Ninjago logo, the Warner Brothers thing came out, there was everyone's like, "Wow, dude, it's a Ninjago movie! I'm so hyped for this." And I was like, "Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, that's great."
Wow.
No, I'm glad that
Were the
people
girls
that
or
age-
guys?
guys and girls. It was a mixed group. And so
Wow.
it was
That's cool.
It was really cool that I presumably they had grown up with it or something. It didn't sound like they were watching a TV show or anything or keeping up with it, but they knew what it was and they were and it was
That's
a thing
important.
that they were It's
My
really
theater was
important to
packed
resonate
to
with
the
that.
brim,
Yeah.
and the jokes landed with everybody in the
Oh
trailer.
boy,
Yeah.
those jokes. It was funny.
Mine was relatively empty, but everyone was laughing.
The Ninjago
Yeah.
trailer was the only trailer in which everyone was laughing consistently. Even Despicable Me and
The
the
trailers before Ninjago taught me
Boy.
one very important thing, and it's that other animated movies that aren't Lego just aren't that good.
Well, it's
Okay,
because
Yeah,
so
there's
there was
like-
a trailer for a baby who's a mafia boss.
yeah, exactly. The boss,
Boss
baby.
baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, boss baby.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. Did you guys see the
honest-
emoji movie one?
Okay,
That was
not.
the most
second
boring thing
I didn't
ever.
get
It
to
was
that
just,
early.
It
It was
terrible.
the meh. I
yeah,
thought
the
it was
meh
funny.
emoji. It was like, all right, this is the exact opposite of what an advertisement should be doing. It's like turning me off from the movie and right away before it's even out. It's just like, wow.
Not only
I
that-
have no interest in this. I didn't have interest in it before, but now I'm even less interested in
I
it.
want to see it at Brick Fair.
Sony literally
Tough
Sony
beans.
Video apparently is banking on the Emoji Movie being their premier franchise
Oh,
this year.
you poor
'Cause
things.
if not, I guess they're gonna sell off their film division.
Yeah, and
So-
Marvel's gonna eat him up.
Yeah,
Full
basically.
rights to Spider-Man again.
Marvel's like Pac-Man jumping on
The only
ghosts.
even the Pixar movie this year looked okay. Cars 3, I'm not super hyped for it. I mean,
didn't
it's
see the
darker,
Cars
it's
3
edgier,
trailer.
but
I mean, I'd be surprised if anyone was hyped for Cars 3.
I am.
some people
Maybe
I'm
are.
I'm
hyped for
hyped.
Cars 3.
Cars.
I'm very
in that case,
intrigued
I'm
by it.
surprised
I'm
in that
intrigued by it.
case.
Well, I mean,
No,
think
not
about it this
really
way,
hyped.
right? Like,
Just, interested.
Cars came out in 2006. So if you were 6 years old and you saw Cars in theaters,
Man,
'cause
no
you were a
wonder I
6-year-old
love
kid.
that movie so much.
I
I
was
like
9
freaking
and
10
I
years
first
old.
saw Cars at school. Like most other movies. That
Exactly.
I saw
It's
that year.
like it's been 11 years since then. You're about you're gonna be what, 17 basically. Yeah. So it's a lot of people are probably going back to their childhood with this. So I think it's cool. I am really glad though that the Ninjago had the best response out of all the trailers there.
Yeah.
I'm
People are
really
looking
excited
forward to
for what that means
Well,
for the
it's 'cause
future
the
of Ninjago
Lego
and
movies
Lego.
are just, they're on another
Dude.
level.
Yeah, I was just telling
Okay.
my friend this. 'Cause, I have a friend that I went to go see the movie with. He's not really into Lego, but he went for Batman mostly. And I was telling him about this. I'm like, dude, these Lego movies have been so on point. And I started telling him about the Ninjago one. He's like, dude, I would actually be down to go see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, let's go.
Darn right you would.
No, dude, Ninjago's gonna resonate with so much more people than the usual, like, than Ninjago right now resonates with. You know, Ninjago has, like, its own fandom right now, and people are aware of it. But a lot of people are gonna go see that movie just because it looks cool, because it looks funny.
Because it's a Lego movie.
Because it's a Lego movie. And the Lego movie humor definitely does not dip when it comes to the Batman movie.
For
So
sure.
let's transition to the Batman movie now. Going from the Lego movie, Batman movie, I was like, there might be Chris Lord, Phil Miller. They're not, they weren't right. They weren't like super involved as they were with the Lego movie. And I felt like, they really went their tone there. And man, this script is sharp. It's
It was-
one of the
Honestly,
Very good.
right out the gate, if I could give any kind of a criticism right now, just or this early on, is that it's non-stop. There are no breathers. It is constant from the very beginning. It's just joke, and it's hilarious.
before
Yeah,
the
dude.
logos come out, man. Like literally,
Yeah,
that whole
immediately.
comic.
5 seconds into the movie, I knew what kind of movie I was in for.
Oh my god.
It
it's-
was incredible.
Black. All great movies start with black.
It's funny because
And
that's how
logos.
Is this a spoiler, or
the Batman v Superman movie started too.
Oh,
And he's
man.
like, "Oh, is it Warner Bros? Why is it Warner?
We shouldn't spoil too many of the jokes.
The
but
important
it
thing
was
to keep
great.
in mind with the movie is it's really, really funny. It's got all the typical Lego movie trademarks, high production values, good character moments, a lot of heart, but its strength is its comedy. And this movie is non-stop joke after joke after
It
joke.
is a very charming movie. Like I walked out,
It
I'm like, man,
is.
that was a cute little flick. Like I would definitely like to see some kids react to it because my
Yes.
theater was pretty small. There wasn't that many people in it, which was awesome because I didn't know what to expect going to such an early viewing. I don't
Yeah,
think
it
I've
was
ever
packed.
gone to a viewing like around 7 p.m.
Yeah,
on a
it's an
release night.
experience.
It made me
I
happy.
hadn't gone until Civil War. That was my first.
Even
I
for
always
Civil
War,
try
to
I
go
went at
for
midnight
movies.
just because I
Yeah.
don't know. I like that
I,
aspect.
the one movie I went to the early showing for was Star Wars. I went to the early showing I could for Star Wars, and that was an experience that I always love having a full theater whenever I see anything.
My
Right.
theater was nearly empty, and it made me so happy.
Mine was
Yeah, it
jam
felt
packed,
really nice.
and they'd also amped up its production quality. They replaced all the seats with leather recliners. Like,
Ooh,
Wow.
I
since
love
I had
those.
last
Yeah,
gone
yeah,
to
yeah.
my theater, it was a dump that
Meanwhile, my
glitched
Cinemark
out
still
during
has
Doctor
like these
Strange.
stupid curved seats that kind of force you to sit in a particular way. Like you can't
hate
lean
that.
back without your neck being pushed forward. I really hate it so much.
Ugh.
That's stupid. The theater I used to have back in my hometown, they right before I left, they got a brand new theater that was the pinnacle. Like it had food, it had alcohol, and you could recline your seat like all the way back.
Oh,
It was
Yeah, my
amazing.
theater is a little bit like that, but minus the recliners.
So
But
the
keeping
idea
the
is that, like,
alcohol.
Now, I think like one of the things that I like about, especially for a comedy film, I like going to the movie and laughing when everyone else is laughing. And I've watched movies before with a full theater, and I've watched movies before with an empty theater, and the ones with a full theater always go like it's always better for me.
Movie
Always
theater
better.
experience.
Of course, another
Okay,
thing
you know what?
that
You know what? Go ahead, Vin, please.
Oh, okay. Well, another thing that definitely has not gotten old with this other Lego movie is the special effects, man.
Ooh
Like,
boy,
the
man,
Oh,
effects
they're on
on
are
point.
so good.
So good.
They are
So
so,
nice.
on
I
point
can't
with
even.
these movies, man. Because the last movie, it was like, oh, cool, seeing a Lego movie for the first time, and you kind of think like another one wouldn't be as astounding to watch, but it was so
They
cool.
amped it
Like
up.
the Scuttler,
it
man.
was-
Oh,
I love the
yeah.
Scuttler, just the way it moved. Oh my god,
I know.
I loved it.
Just everything about, like, not just that, the way that they built Gotham City. They took inspiration from all the best parts of all the other Gothams you've ever seen in a Batman film. Like, the super tall buildings and, like, the kind of the realism and also, like, the film noir kind of the whole deal. And, like, they mashed that into the perfect version of Gotham City, and it's phenomenal to watch.
yeah, and
Another
the builds are so impressive. I honestly,
boy.
I kept
Batcave,
thinking throughout the
the
movie, like,
Batcave.
man, there's got to be a way. There must have been somebody who actually had to design all this with real Lego. There's no way,
Yeah, right?
There's no
That's what
way
I
this
think
was
of,
all CGI.
when I'm thinking about like all the, we saw the city for Gotham and also Ninjago, and I was like, man, someone had to like design all of this. Someone literally took it and made it out of Lego,
Yeah,
They used
it's
their-
amazing, man.
They used their epic background LDD. It's like 10 times better. Build it out. Build the city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they could just hit that button and give us instructions to build
Exactly.
the entire city.
The entire
Just
entire
press that
Gotham City. Gotham City UCS.
Use Gotham City
So
UCS.
thus far,
Wow.
I think we can all agree the movie was very entertaining. The special
Yeah.
effects are great. Now the story. What do we think of the story?
I
Personally
liked
speaking,
it. I thought it was good.
there's an element of Batman I don't feel is touched upon. And this is not, I mean, this is in the trailers. So, but like Alfred mentions about like, there's a thing where he kind of, it's about him being a part of a family again. That's part
Right,
of
yeah.
the movie. And, that's something that you don't really touch upon in Batman comics or Batman movies. That like that whole, it is a bit
It's
of
always
a,
there too. They just
Yeah.
you never see a piece of Batman media really shed too much light on it though.
exactly.
Except for maybe like the Red Hood story. Arkham Knight kind of played around with the idea a little bit.
Right. Like
but-
there's been the Bat family's been around, but like it's just
you
like
kind of
the-
have to look for it too.
Right.
It's not like it. Again, the light has never been shed on that with like all these movies and TV shows that Batman's had. That was never like a problem, but it's like a core element of his character. So
I think-
yeah,
yeah.
I agree. It was really cool to see them adapt that aspect of his character into this movie, even if they did it so stylistically and so I guess adolescent.
and a part of it too is that like I feel like sure being a part of a family might be a generic thing for kids movies to touch upon, but it's so fundamental to Batman's character. Like this is a guy whose parents he got killed when he was 8 and he literally never gets over it for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life, he instead of dealing it by like going through therapy or like just accepting that this is what happens to people, dresses up like a bat and punches the crap out of criminals for the rest of his life. So it's a thing that like it's so true to that character, and I feel like what I said to my friends coming out of it is like, this is how I imagined the pitch of this movie got made. And someone went to the Warner Brothers and said, hey, what if we made a DC movie, but we actually respected the source material? And Zack Snyder's like, nah, that's stupid. And they kicked him out and he went to animation. But like that, the amount of respect that this movie has for who Batman is as a character, what like all these characters mean and everything, it's phenomenal. It's way more than I've seen out of the DC cinematic universe up until this point.
It is, and you know what? It's telling that the highest rated Batman movie entirely is this. It beats out,
It is okay. It has
it beats
dropped
out the
slightly.
Nolan trilogy, which is astounding.
It did drop slightly today. I was checking it today. When we recorded the Brickfeed podcast yesterday, which was Wednesday, it was ranked higher than any other Batman movie in history. And now it's dropped just to, I think it's like 90, 92, 91% on Tomatoes, which
Aw.
makes it just below The Dark Knight, but above everything
Aw.
else.
Right. Yeah, no, come on, man. It was
Never mind.
not
Dark
gonna
Knight.
last. It's barely been
Yeah.
out for like a day.
But I mean,
was nice
I would
while it
definitely say,
Yeah.
for this decade, it's the best Batman movie. I liked it better than Rises.
Oh yeah,
I-
yeah. This movie is way better than Rise.
Yeah.
is.
I'm not a Batman fan. Like I land in the Marvel camp, but this was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think we've got a really interesting cast for this episode as we move into spoiler discussion soon, because we have LJ and Purple, who really aren't like comics Batman fans whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
Kai and Vin, who
Mhm.
are, and then me, who falls somewhere in the middle. So I'm looking forward to hashing all
Oh,
this
you're
out.
totally in our camp, Meso. Come on.
No, I like
Which-
DC.
That
Yeah, but I
actually
mean,
like BBS.
how many, how many comics have you read, man? I've linked you so many comics over time.
Absolutely, the only comic I've ever read, literally superhero related, was American Alien. I think.
Oh,
Superhero
yeah.
linked in the chat.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah.
It's-
I remember.
it's a good-
I
it's a
still
good
want
series.
to
So-
read that actually.
You do. It's a great.
What I
Superman
will
one.
say
Let's go back to
before
that.
we
I do.
transition about the story, what I'll say is I really liked it. It went in a direction I did not expect, and we're talking about that as we go into spoilers. And they did a masterful job of keeping it all under wraps. It threw me for a loop, basically, but it was a
Oh,
great
yeah.
story. Great
Yes,
story with a lot of heart, a
absolutely.
lot of character.
Yeah.
I feel like all the
in-
characters were done justice. Except
In the same way where the Lego movie, it kind of shifts at a certain point, this one does the same. And it's absolutely for the best.
What
Yeah,
I
I-
will say,
I do.
if I
like
had to pick out like
just one non-spoilery thing to say negatively. It's that if you are expecting a lot of character for Batman's rogue gallery, you might be disappointed solely because of the sheer volume of the cast. They're mostly caricatures, except for Joker.
Right.
Which
that
is
actually
kind of obvious. If you gave it any amount of thought, you would understand that's basically how it had to be. But
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Check expectations.
essentially there's a lot of Batman's Rogues Gallery that are definitely cameos. You don't expect this to be kind of cameo level. Catwoman appears very, very, very briefly. Same thing of like Mr. Freeze and Clayface and Two-Face and like a lot of the characters appear very briefly in the movie.
But they serve
also,
their role well and deliver some absolutely hilarious.
The rest of the Justice League also barely appear in this movie too. So
Yeah, they were
I
showing
didn't,
the trailers
I didn't
and they were
expect
like,
them.
there's a scene from the trailer that's cut from the movie. I did not see it in the movie at all.
Yeah,
where
really?
they're all the Justice League is running out like out of a hangar or
Yes,
something.
yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's cut out
I
of the
wasn't
movie.
there at all.
I
So
don't even remember that.
So be it.
Right.
That's fine.
It's okay.
That's
the
not a
Batman
big deal.
character himself very well serviced here. I feel like they touched just good on like on doing a bit of character development while not actually like ruining the character. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's say...
If anything, it just adds a lot more fun to the character.
It does, and I mean the one thing you should also take away from this too is that this movie universe is set in a place where everything is canon. Everything up and down is canon, and they'll talk like it's canon. They'll talk about like being around for 78 years. They'll talk about the Justice League has a 57th anniversary party, and there's references to previous Batman movies and previous Batman shows.
Yeah, and there's
like,
obviously a good reason for that.
yeah.
We can get into that in
Right.
a second, but
I think where we should
just-
leave it is, should you see it?
absolutely, hands down, not a shadow of a doubt in my mind.
I have told all my friends, I said, if you at all kind of like the Lego movie, you should definitely see this.
Yeah.
It is everything that like, and it's, I feel, and I don't know if everyone else agrees with it, I felt that there weren't so like many references that you couldn't keep up. I feel like it was meant definitely for a Batman connoisseur, someone who knows about the character, obviously enough, knows his parents were killed, knows he becomes Batman.
No, if you're a Batman
knows the
fan,
Joker-ish.
this is a nice little treat for you.
Yeah,
And
there's some
even
nice
if you
references
aren't-
for fans, but like if you're not a fan, you still get this movie pretty well. There's almost nothing in this movie that you will not get.
Yeah, honestly, even not being a Batman fan myself, I never felt like I was lost. I knew there were things I wouldn't understand. There were characters I just didn't know about. But I never felt like I was
Alienated.
misdirected or there was a joke I didn't get because I didn't know
Right.
something. It felt very aimed to be as general as possible, and all that it requires of you is that you know Batman
Right.
at all.
Just know basic
No, he
stuff.
exists.
Just basic
Just
normal stuff
very,
about
very,
Batman.
yeah, exactly.
And even then, you get an idea of who he is in the first couple of minutes of the
Yeah.
movie, anyway. So I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, this movie plays very kindly to the general audience.
Also,
Yeah,
can we just I just really want to say that like I'm super happy with this movie because it's the first in a new franchise for Batman. Doesn't need to freaking show his origin story
I
a
was
billion
just
times.
thinking
Yeah.
that.
Like
I-
Bernie Burns complains about this in the podcast too. They don't need to show the Waynes getting shot like again and again and again and again. It's just like no,
That-
listen,
that
we
does
know
not happen.
it's just implied to be there. You know, his parents died when he was a kid, and that's why
Exactly.
that's why he's Batman.
All right, in that case, unless anyone else has anything non-spoilery to say, no.
Oh wait.
Anyone?
Okay, go on. You first.
What's
You
up, Purple?
first.
Speak now.
I like
Forever hold it.
It was in regards to like the effects and stuff. How it was like
Do it.
a combination of like Lego and like regular looking stuff. Like the clouds were both like normal looking clouds and also Lego clouds, and it was like whoa. So that's
Right.
it.
Two things.
Look absolutely
One,
incredible.
they say pew whenever the guns shoot. It's adorable and amazing and works so well with the film. Number two, music. The music, the film
Oh my
score
God, yes.
in this movie
Oh,
is
yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
because it draws homage from all the different Batman themes and kind of like mixes them together in like in a thing, and just in the film score. And then there's also like actual music where they sing and the stuff, and it's just great. So
It's
Absolutely.
a
Two things we really love
true
about this
Batman tribute. Honestly.
Yeah.
Watch the
Really.
credits, basically.
yeah,
watch the
make sure to watch those credits.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay,
Let's go into
Spoilers.
spoilers.
I've got to say, right out the gate, spoiler-wise, really did not see that coming with all the different villains.
Yeah, I
wonder
didn't either.
freaking Voldemort. Like,
I
what
wonder-
the hell?
Oh, okay.
The Eye of Sauron. Are
So-
you
The Eye of
kidding me?
Sauron,
Should we
freaking
do, like-
Godzilla.
Should we do like a little movie synopsis sort of thing?
Do it. You know what?
all right,
Do
sure.
an abridged version.
So,
Anybody who can
The
remember, let's
movie
do a team
opens,
effort.
and we see Batman in his prime, kicking butt, just like going up
With his
against
9-pack.
Joker and a whole bunch of other villains. Like he's really facing off every single Batman villain you could probably think of, and he beats them all within like maybe a couple minutes. Doesn't take much. And finally, he's face to face with the Joker, and Joker's like, "Ha, I'm your greatest enemy, aren't I?" And Batman's like, "No, you're not. You don't matter to me at all. Nobody does." And he hurts Joker's feelings. And
Rip.
boom, we start to build up the premise as Batman returns to Wayne Manor successfully. You know, he's all happy. He got another good day of being Batman. And then you realize how lonely he is. You know, he's celebrating all by
That
himself in
crippling
Wayne Manor.
isolation.
Yeah, he's like watching
Me, but darker.
watching movies by himself, eating by himself.
Human.
and it's
Well,
just-
hold up. He's watching human movies. Let's also like talk
Oh,
about that
yeah.
real quick.
Yeah, what the
He's
heck?
watching like
That's
that.
something I
He just, like,
really want
bursts
to
out
get
laughing.
into this.
That was quite
I was dying.
I didn't expect to
literally
see
was
Tom
dying.
Cruise.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see like real. I guess we already saw real people in the Lego movie, but in
I
that
did-
style, just like seamlessly integrated.
Man,
I did
Nolan,
wish that,
get
like,
away
they would
from
make a Lego
Batman. All right,
movie
we don't need
like
your
a thing.
Inception in here. Okay, Nolan, get
I-
out of here.
I will agree. I wish they had like replicated a movie in Lego.
Yeah. Like
It
if
was
they had replicated Titanic,
a little bit jarring.
if they like replicated Titanic, like obviously like they couldn't do. I forget what movie he was watching, but it was like it's something you couldn't recognize if they were just done in Lego characters. But like something like Titanic, where you can see the two characters and instantly know what it's referencing, that would have
Yeah.
been nice.
Would have been nice. Continue
Mhm.
on.
So Batman's lonely, and you kind of see him like kind of brooding. He's looking at a picture of his parents. He's like, "Man, I had a great day today, guys. I wish you guys could be here to see it." And Alfred sneaks up and he's like, "You know what your biggest fear is, Batman? You're afraid
Kicks him
of
a piano.
like having a family and stuff." And Batman's like, "No, I'm afraid of like clown snakes, snake clowns." And so
There's also a great montage of all the previous Batman movies done in a Lego style. There's like a real clip of like Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight and like all the
Yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Knight
yeah.
That's a
I
little
love
bit
love
later
that
on.
stuff,
I was
dude.
like freaking
I was
out.
like-
That's a bit later on, though.
oh, they did it twice.
I know. Well, the first one, it was like real pictures, wasn't it?
yeah,
There were
no,
a few.
dude,
Yeah.
in
There
the
was
trailer,
a clip of the Batman that was like dancing around, but they replicated
Yeah.
a lot of iconic imagery in Lego form.
Yeah.
it was
that
everything.
BBS.
There were two things that were replicated in like the human form. The first was the bat nipples and Batman and Robin, and that was like an actual picture of George Clooney's bat nipples.
That was
and then
hilarious.
the last one was a 1960s movie. But like when we saw the original clip in theaters back when what came out, Batman v Superman came out last year. It was all real clips, and I just love it that they recreated all of that in Lego form. So,
Yeah.
anyhow, yeah.
So Batman's, there's his problem. You got a character with a problem. He's in denial, etc. Then he gets invited to this party to celebrate the hiring of a new commissioner. That's right, Commissioner Gordon. He's retiring, and replacing him would be Barbara Gordon. Barbara's like, "Yo, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to like help Gotham fight crime." But here's the thing, all right, Batman. He's not bad or anything. He's okay, but the problem with Batman is he works alone and he doesn't really lock up these criminals. So I think we need to team up with Batman and start actually like locking up these criminals instead of just letting them all do their thing. Because the
It
problem
was a very meta and very easy way, and it made for a more compelling reason
Right.
for like accountability than either BVS and like.
I know.
Even,
I
like,
love it.
Soul
Yeah, it
Wars
was
to a
so
degree, it
legit
was so
because
fun.
at the beginning of the movie when Batman's fighting all these villains, they actually do get away, including
It's-
Joker.
right.
Batman doesn't stop Joker or catch him or anything. He lets him go because he has to prevent Joker's plan from unfolding. This plan to like blow up Gotham with this big bomb. And so Barbara's talking and everyone's like, "No, you know what? She's got a point. Yeah, Batman kind of
It's funny because like I love that too because the audience is also like, oh yeah, right. She's like, yeah, we have things called laws and accountability. So we can't just have someone running around. We need to like make sure that like we work within the existing legal framework to apprehend these criminals. And you're like, oh yeah, that is That's a good point. That's a really good point. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, right. Like, I looked at my friend, and I'm like, you know, that's so true.
Yeah, I know.
That's so. How does that keep
Great
happening?
commentary.
Beauty and subtlety, basically.
So yeah, that happens, and then Joker comes in with all his goons again, like freaking Bane and Riddler and everybody. They come in and they're wreaking havoc for like a couple seconds. Batman, you know, as Bruce, leaves the party for like a second to come back as Batman, and then Barbara's there and she's like fighting some of the bad guys, and they're kind of teaming up but not really, and then Joker's like, yo, chill, I'm turning myself in.
SWAT team, set your guns to stun. Non-lethal, yeah.
Yeah.
That
was great.
That was a love.
They all surrender themselves.
Yeah. Joker and all the villains surrender themselves. And
Well, the Joker does.
the Joker does, and he surrenders everybody else for them.
In a giant box.
Yeah.
Yep.
He traps them all in a
Wrapped in
giant
bow.
box, wraps it up, and gives it to the police, you know. And they're all gone. They're all on their way to Arkham Asylum, and then Batman's like, no, there's more to this. There's no way. There's got to be more to this. And then Joker's like, hey, man, you know, you're right. I mean, I guess we don't have any sort of relationship after all. I mean nothing to you. So I'll just turn myself in, and, you know, everything will be fine. But little did they know, Joker had a little bit of a plan going on. So Batman, he's like, no, this isn't enough. You know what? I'm going to send Joker to the Phantom Zone. So he goes over to Superman's place, and Superman's having a party with the Justice League that Batman wasn't invited to. Oh yeah, by the way, he by this point he also met Robin.
Yeah, he adopted Robin.
How could I forget Robin? And then,
right.
like, Robin sneaked into Bruce Wayne's life, like sort of having him adopt him indirectly while
distracted
Bruce
by Barbara.
Batman wasn't paying attention, like, at all, and it was just like,
He's
yep.
oogling Barbara Gordon.
Oh yeah. Okay, the Barbara thing. That's real funny. We're gonna get into that in a moment.
We're gonna get into that in a moment. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's adopted Dick Grayson, and who becomes Robin like within a couple moments, because Batman's like, you know what? I need someone who's expendable for this next mission I'm about to do. You kid, you know what? Fine. You're my son, whatever. You're coming with me because I need to use you. And so
Yeah, basically.
Batman breaks in to the Justice League party with Robin, and then he directs Robin to steal this sort of thing that sends villains into the Phantom Zone. It's like a laser gun. The Phantom Gun. So, and it's a rather small thing. It's not too crazy. So Batman gets Robin to get the Phantom Gun thing. They break back out, and they're like, yeah, awesome, cool. Now let's go do the next thing. So they go to Arkham Asylum, and they run into Barbara, and Barbara's like, what are you doing here? And Batman's like, nothing. And then there's shenanigans happens, and eventually Batman breaks into Joker's cell, sends him to the Phantom Zone. He's like, ha, yeah, I did it, Batman, I'm so awesome. Now Joker will never come back and never cause crime again. See, Barbara, I did it. And Barbara's like, nah, dude, you broke the law. Now we gotta, like, lock you up. And Batman's like, aw. And
Well, this entire time, Batman just doesn't have pants.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like low key.
that was hilarious. Oh, neither does Robin.
Joker's like, briefs, me too.
Now, what happened next, we should have all seen coming. Because as we've been, we were talking about the Lego Batman movie trailers, and there was always that little question: why the heck was the Wicked Witch of the West there?
Right.
Why was she there?
So to elaborate on this plan, right? Joker got sent to the Phantom Zone, and while he was there, he encountered a wide cast, unexpected cast of villains such as Sauron, King Kong, the Thing, Wicked
Dinosaurs.
Voldemort.
This is literally
The
that
Gremlins.
episode. If you guys seen How It Should Have Ended, they have the episode where Batman goes into the villain pub.
It was
That's
this movie.
literally it. That's it. That's the final act of this movie.
I would have
That's
never
literally it.
imagined in a million years that was the direction that the movie was going to go.
I did
would
not
have.
imagine
It threw me
either.
for a bigger curveball than the Lego movie being like the construction of this kid's.
I mean, it made so much sense when you thought about it, you know,
It
because
did.
all the heroes are there, the villains have to be there somewhere too.
And
we
it
saw,
was like-
we saw,
It did really open my eyes to thinking, oh wait, well it is a Lego movie, so I mean Lego can encompass anything, doesn't have to be just Batman. It really did break that a little bit of the immersion for me, honestly.
It broke a lot of the immersion, but I didn't
Yeah.
mind it.
Did it really?
particularly.
Yeah, like because I went
Interesting.
into it thinking that
Yeah.
it was a Batman movie with a Lego skin on it, and so up until this
No,
point
it was
it was
a Lego movie with a Batman skin.
yeah,
It
that,
was.
essentially, yeah. At that point, that's where I was like, oh, okay. So my mind had to shift gears for like a moment, but it was only a moment because after that, it was hilarious.
They
I
got
have
back
one
into it.
major complaint with that, and that is Joker unleashes everyone back in Gotham, right? All the greatest villains and everything. They're back in Gotham causing havoc, except for Zod. Why isn't Zod there? Because we literally see him
yeah!
be put into the Phantom Zone by Superman, and Superman's like, "Yep," and then that's where Batman gets the idea. Oh yeah, the Phantom Zone. So
'Cause then
like,
they would have had to like have Superman be a part of the story to like face him.
but
It's
I
just
mean,
a
Yeah.
throwaway
then
card.
he could have been Batman's greatest enemy.
Yeah,
for a
they
second.
did
They could've done
reference
something
it,
like that.
and like John said, you actually do see Batman watching like this news report about, oh yeah, Superman, he's so great, he sent Zod to the Phantom Zone. Batman's like, Phantom Zone, that's great. So no, it totally would have made sense if Zod was there. I totally get you. But oh well,
Maybe he
you know.
was just asleep
find
at the
it-
time. You didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it interesting the design they used for Zod. It was that of the old, like, what is it, 80s movies?
Yes.
80s
Yeah.
movies?
Yeah.
And not the modern version that's in everyone's minds right now.
This
Well,
is
same with
true.
Superman. That's what they did.
Fair
Yeah.
point. Fair point.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, I guess to be
Well,
fair,
go ahead.
the modern Zod never didn't get sent to the Phantom Zone.
He did not. Well, he did at the very beginning, and the interesting looking rocket ships.
Yeah, but not by
That went
Superman.
Not by Superman, by
No,
Jor-El.
Superman snapped his neck.
Superman just sent him to.
He sent him
you
to
know,
a
the
different
underworld.
kind of Phantom Zone. So
They transformed Wayne Manor into the Joker Palace, which I really hope becomes a UCS set at some point.
Oh
you
my
watch. Probably will.
So
It'll be
Joker
super
somehow
expensive.
breaks all the villains out of the Phantom Zone, and they start to attack Gotham City. And then Barbara, she's freaking out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, we need Batman!" So she goes to Arkham Asylum. She's like, "Batman, we need you." And Batman's like, "Yeah, you do." And they get out, and then Batman helps them fight stuff. Oh man, guys, it's starting to get blurry for me.
Well.
I
Also-
can finish summarizing.
Essentially-
Finish it. Finish the fight.
Batman comes back. It's like, yeah, let's do this. They go and they take out the Eye of Sauron. They crash. Batman sends his family away.
Oh
Then
yeah,
he
There it
goes
is.
to the palace. He gets sucked in the Phantom Zone, makes a deal with the Phantom Zone, gets sent back. They all team up. They beat the villains. The end.
Basically, yeah.
That is like
Yeah.
the worst way. Dude, you
I'll
just
just say the
rush
thing.
through everything.
I'm very
Antics
excited to talk
ensue.
about it. I'm sorry.
I'll just
I
say
do
the
want
thing
to talk about that.
quickly.
Antics
And
ensued.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Wow.
Thank you.
So okay, all right. So now it's kind of like back in our heads a little bit. Going back to the thing that we were talking about beforehand, a lot of references, and the thing
Okay.
that I found was the great middle ground I felt for the references is that they did do some comic references, especially with all the obscure villains. That was really great. But they also did the majority of it was movie references, which is perfect because
My
a lot of
favorite joke in the
audiences have
movie.
seen it. Yeah.
My absolute favorite joke in the movie is when Killer Croc was swimming underwater at the very start.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
bomb, and he
The
said,
bomb.
"I did something."
Then the Batman literally like, oh, why would I assemble a team of villains to take out the villains? That's just stupid.
Dude, yeah, I was
Did
laughing
exactly
about that one too.
He
I
had to-
love it.
He also mentioned the Suicide Squad by name.
I'm
later
very
on, too.
surprised they mentioned the Suicide Squad by name.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
suicide. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm even
Um,
more surprised that his password was Iron Man. So
Iron Man sucks.
Okay,
but
that
that's
was
my
amazing.
favorite joke in the entire thing. That like that's
Yeah.
that's the perfect.
I love it because I didn't understand why like none of the Marvel characters showed up in the Lego movie. Because they have the license to both. It wouldn't matter too much.
Well,
right?
because Warner Brothers is producing it. Warner Brothers.
You're
yeah.
right. I
So
forgot
Warner
about
Brothers
that.
owns DC. They don't own Marvel. And I think
That is
they
a fair point.
no. But to be fair to you, they did have Star Wars in the Lego Movie, and Disney owns Star
right.
Wars. So there's,
That's a good point.
I don't know how much strings
It's
they have to
weird.
pull in.
It's
Yeah.
still really weird. So the main thing I really liked about this is you could tell it still interconnects very heavily into the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie
Master
directly is
Builder.
never referenced. It is never addressed at all. So Batman does not bring up Emmett, Wildstyle, none of it. However, it is still connected in the way of the what did they call that zone?
Master
Abyss. The Abyss.
Oh,
I
no.
felt.
Oh yeah, the
Not the
abyss.
film.
Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
the
abyss,
Abyss,
and then the
because-
master building.
Yeah, the master building, the pew pew pew, the guns, and then the abyss. And the abyss is the big thing that I wanted to discuss because the
Okay.
whole the Joker's plot is to blow up Gotham with this huge bomb, and what apparently that'll do is it will split Gotham in half and send it into the abyss. And the abyss is the exact same. It's basically that giant portal we saw Emmett go through in the first film to the
Right.
human world. So there's our first indication. And then the pew pew pew, it's literally just a kid going pew
Where?
pew pew.
It's
And
interesting
then all the
because
human
like
films.
if you think about like the guy's Joker's plan, the guy actually does a diagram. There's a scientist dude. He's like, yeah, basically we're living on a table, and if you split the table in half, we're gonna all fall
Yeah.
into the abyss.
Exactly.
Because Gotham City's built on his table. So,
So
that
I
was
like
really
that.
funny.
I
Love
I
that.
really really do like that because it means yes, it's still part of the same world. It's still a child's imagination,
Yes.
and I love that so much that it's still connected.
Quite right. Thought it was very well done.
Mhm.
I want to talk about something purple. What were your thoughts on the movie?
I really liked it, but for some reason I just kind of left it feeling like empty, I guess. I don't entirely know why, because initially I thought it was like, because I didn't understand most of the jokes, but it's like there weren't actually that many jokes I didn't understand. Like I understood like the entire movie, but it just,
That's
it felt like
I
something was
didn't really
missing or something.
expect. I didn't expect there to not be so many comic references.
Yeah.
You know, like
I was too
I
surprised by
expected
that.
more. I guess is the better way of saying that.
What it really boils down to, I think I can help figure this out. Let's do a good old psychoanalyzing
Let's
session.
go.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It's
Oh,
not
boy.
so much a thing where you need to know references and in-jokes. It's more of a thing where you have to have some baseline understanding, however small it may be, of Batman and Batman pop culture. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, the only Batman movie you've ever seen is Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm
oh.
sorry.
Okay.
And you've never
What
read
a
a
shame.
Batman comic.
Have you
Nope.
never seen a cartoon?
No.
So there you
Okay.
go.
So
It's
she's
not a
had
matter
no
of
exposure
not
to Batman. Wow.
understanding. It's
Right,
not a
right.
matter of not understanding a joke. I can totally understand why you would have that empty
This makes
feeling.
sense now.
That does
Because
make
you
sense.
don't
we,
understand
we said
like,
this.
stuff.
Yeah, we said that at the beginning. Like the one prerequisite is that you have to have a basic understanding of Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have
literally
that.
don't.
Like I
It has to
know
be-
he
it's
lost
very
his parents and Robin is a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so,
Basically
like, so
it.
What
for
you
instance, saw
enjoyed out of the
Two-Face.
movie
You
was-
you get that. Interesting.
What you got out of the movie was its excellent graphic design, the Lego references and comedy,
Yeah.
and just general funny jokes. But there is that added layer that is built upon. Like for me, I didn't understand like half the stuff about older Batman movies and references, but I could piece it together because I have that like baseline. I've seen the Nolan movies, you know. I've heard these guys talk about it for years. I saw some of the older cartoons, and I know basically all of the major rogue gallery people. So
Right.
I understood that Bane was a caricature of his Dark Knight Rises version when he
Right,
was
he
like,
had the
"I will
voice.
be Joker's reckoning."
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So
Like, I
great.
get that. I understand. Killer Croc says I did something. I get.
You know,
that.
you just reminded me. It's funny that earlier on, Batman's like, "You're gonna get a team of villains to fight the villains." That's stupid. And then that's essentially what happened by the end of the movie.
I know, right? He assembled a Suicide
Better
Squad. That was a
Suicide
joke.
Squad than the actual movie.
It was so much better. I
were
love that, like
quite
at the beginning too. There was that scene where the Joker like talks to the guy in the plane, and the guy's like, "Is this is my greatest plan yet?" And the guy's like, "Is it better than Time of the Two Boats?" He's like, "Yes, it's better than Time of the Two Boats." He's
Yeah.
Like, what about the Time of the Parade and the Prince music? And the dad in front of me, who's like seeing the movie with his kids, he lost it. He was dying laughing.
Yeah,
Also,
so-
like there's either just general meta references, like the whole the point at the beginning is like, yes, hello, this is MacGuffin Airlines. We're like having all of these explosives, and we're just going among the biggest crime-ridden city in the world. So
Yeah, the intro to that movie was one of the best parts. Just the first 10 minutes
Honestly.
was just nonstop. Like, it did not let up.
It really
cracked
did.
up at so many
Warner
things.
Bros.
Yeah. But I can totally understand if someone doesn't have that baseline knowledge. It doesn't mean they didn't like the movie. They didn't get as
Right.
much out of it.
Yeah,
as,
no,
That makes
I can-
sense.
I can
Yeah.
totally
Makes
get
a
that.
lot of sense.
I feel like most people will, when we say, you know, obviously there's a different level of being a fan. I feel like most people listening to this have about the base level of Batman knowledge you need to go into this film with. Like most people, especially like, you know, if you're a boy, you're just like, you just absorb this knowledge from cartoons and dressing up as Batman for Halloween, and there's stuff that you just kind of know, you know, you don't need to like actually be a comics fan to get. But
But there
if you
is
just
that
yeah,
there is
there's
that
some people who haven't.
added other layer that's to be considered as well, where halfway through the movie also incorporates general pop culture movie references.
That's true.
So
Gremlins.
a lot of people like
Yes.
I've never seen Gremlins. I don't know what those are. So
I was
lost
really
that.
excited to see the
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Yeah, me
They
too.
are- they're little goblin-like creatures that disassemble planes.
Yeah. I
Famous
know
for-
of like King Kong and like the Loch Ness monster, and or like not the Loch Ness monster, but you know all these creatures.
It wasn't Godzilla.
Dracula.
Yeah.
Wait, was that not
Voldemort.
Godzilla? Who was that?
No. Godzilla has 2 arms, not like 6.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I thought it was Godzilla because they had King Kong and what I thought was Godzilla.
So if I had to say like a criticism, it wouldn't be something that I felt because I understood most of those jokes. But like I know a lot of people might have been maybe disappointed that it's not really about Batman versus his rogues gallery. It's more
Okay.
about Batman
Yes.
versus pop culture media. In terms
Yeah,
of
so-
like the direct adversary, it's the
That's a
Joker
really-
and the band of Warner Brothers villains.
Yeah, that's a really great point you made, and I actually want to kind of jump off of that a little bit. If you wanted the sets that were not the Scuddler to have any importance in this movie, you're going to be disappointed because the majority of the Lego
Clayface.
sets,
Yeah.
somewhat a little bit.
Clayface
But if
was
it
one of
isn't
the
a
better
Batman
ones.
vehicle or the Batcave, then it generally doesn't have a whole lot of screen time. And you're going to feel a little bit disappointed that it didn't have more of a role.
That's
Which
Like,
is
for
a similar
instance-
problem to the Lego movie.
Right, yeah.
Yes, to be fair, that is true. Like, oh goodness, the Penguin's Arctic Roller.
yeah,
That shows up like once toward the end.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's
So a lot of them are actually either not seen at all or seen very little. And heck, there are even some minifigs we don't have. The Condiment King? We don't have that guy yet.
I want the Condiment King. I want Gentleman Ghost because he's a transparent minifigure.
I actually do not want the Condiment King. I think that is a hideous design.
It's hilarious.
Well,
dude.
that's the joke
It's
in it.
hilarious.
Like, it's so terrible.
I'm sure it is. I hate that character.
No, I feel like I mean there were several ones we didn't get. There's a lot of Justice League people who didn't get, you know, that whole deal. I feel like one thing you're also meant like that's building on that too, LJ, is that like the entirety
Building on it.
wink. There's a lot of like environments in this movie that look gorgeous and will never be coming out in sets ever, you know,
Yes.
to the extent they were in the movie. And so there's a disconnect, I feel, a bit with like if you want to see your sets in the movie.
There's totally a
it's
disconnect.
not there.
Because to make
I
the
actually do
accurate
think-
sets to the movie, you would have to spoil the
Exactly.
twist thing. You would have to
Yes.
do Batman versus King Kong, which would be an
Right,
accurate
exactly.
set that was actually like represented in the movie a lot. Or Batman and his crew versus Lord Voldemort, who
Right,
got
exactly.
more
Sauron.
speaking lines and screen time than most of Batman's villains. Or Batman's and the Batwing versus the Eye of Sauron.
Okay, yeah, you know what?
This
I
is
will
something that I
say,
never thought I would
I
be
do
saying
wish
until
that
it's
Batman's actual villains got more screen time than the randoms, you know? Like, I was honestly a little bit excited to see Two-Face.
Yeah, 'cause,
he's
Billy
voiced
D.
by,
Williams-
what's his name?
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah,
Billy D. Williams.
yeah.
Did he speak again after his first line?
He did.
Did he
he
even
did.
have a
He,
first line?
He did
I
have
remember
more
he had
lines.
one line, and after that,
At
it
the
was just
end.
like, oh, what? That's it?
And then like Catwoman, she's like
Meow,
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 and that's
great.
it.
I thought that was
Yeah.
That was really funny, but I don't think she had a line after that.
No.
not really. Poison Ivy only had a couple lines. It is a little. I felt like the Rogues Gallery is such a huge part of Batman, and I was expecting a bit more interaction with them. I actually liked the whole thing of pop culture versus Batman because I
me
felt
too.
that made it.
I thought it was funny. It's just
yeah,
not
but like,
what-
I also
thought
get
it
that
was
too.
fun,
I wish we had more time with the Rogues Gallery as well.
Yeah.
I totally.
Okay, you're
totally
saying Rogues Gallery, right? Not Robe Gallery.
I said Rogues. Yeah.
Rogues.
Okay.
Rogues.
'Cause
I thought it was-
I have like no idea what you
Speaking
guys are
of
talking about. Whenever you say
Robe-
Rogues Gallery,
I
it's like
thought
what
it
is
was
that?
Rose Gallery, like the flower.
No, that's dumb.
It's Rogue. Like Rogue, the
speaking
villains are
of-
Rogue.
Speaking of Robes Gallery, Reggae Man.
No, that Star Wars movie, Rogue One.
Reggae Man, yeah.
Reggae Man.
Oh my god.
When he
All
talks
the
about the
things.
mariachi man, he's like, "That's culturally insensitive."
Reggae Man,
Love
isn't
that
it?
Yeah, I know, right? But like, I guess
I
guess
love
so.
that the humor in this film is actually smart. You know, like it's not
It's
not a bunch
funny.
of slapstick humor.
Yeah, it's not like just a bunch of like potty humor, fart jokes, and
Okay,
stuff
that's
like that.
that's it's not just slapstick. Slapstick's
okay,
okay.
there was one. There
Um,
was one that's really funny.
yeah, I mean, like
They're
I feel
purple.
like we saw this in the trailers. What we were talking about
Yeah,
beforehand,
I mean,
like Boss
there's
Baby.
definitely
So
slapstick.
much potty humor.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just kinda
Boss
like,
Baby is like,
that's
oh, come on, really?
that's
The
even
only
emoji
time
movie.
where that
It's
was
like
even a factor in this film was when they were in the Scuddler, and it's like, Batman, your number 2 needs to go number 1.
Yeah.
That's the only time. But I feel that fits because he's a child and he's trying to talk to his like. That's something that the parents in the audience can relate to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
exactly. I knew I
Yeah,
should
it's done tastefully, not like
The Lego
Boss
movies have a
Baby,
certain
which
level of
looks like it
sophistication.
relies on the potty humor. No, Batman does not rely on potty. Batman relies
no.
on you to have a good sense of humor and to be in not just a kid but also an adult, and just to understand
person.
that this movie is made by people just like you that understand these
Mhm.
references, that
Only
understand
richer.
pop culture. Yeah, sure.
It's almost like it's a kid-friendly Daredevil, not Daredevil, Deadpool in a sense.
Right,
Like
yeah.
where it's
Yes.
they're making at the very beginning. Batman talks about like, yeah, this is ominous music that would make parents and studio execs kind of nervous. And at the very end, there's like this song that makes parents and studio execs really happy. It's just like,
Aw.
yeah, okay, they know they know that it's a movie and they're willing to lampshade it. The non-lethal thing was one of the funniest things for me because it's like just to like make sure the parents know, and also like for me it was a callback to Batman v Superman where everyone's like, oh yeah, by the way, they're going into that abandoned warehouse place, so no one's gonna die this time.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, there you go. I felt like that was just a really great movie
Mhm.
overall.
I basically don't think there's any way you could watch this movie and not enjoy it. I do think there are
To some
levels
degree,
where
yeah.
you would have a certain like feeling where you missed out, like with Purple.
Yeah.
But it's
I
a
still
good
like the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's a
Yeah.
good movie. There's like
Mhm.
I like if you're devoid of all fun, you're not gonna like this movie. But I don't think you like life at that rate. But
It's
It's
much
honestly-
more than you expect it to be. I think like it's a movie that like it touches on a lot of stuff. And the one thing too, again, we talked about before, Batman's character is so fit
Okay.
for this moral they're talking about.
I will
That-
say,
yes,
I about Batman's character.
Okay, all right, I want to hear this.
Not gonna lie, I understand why they portrayed him like this. I thought he was a little bit too adolescent for my tastes.
I actually thought it was really funny
I
how
thought
he
it
was
was,
just
I thought it
acting
was
like
funny
a little
too. Don't get me wrong.
angsty
Like, it was
teenager.
definitely enjoyable, but I think it's really just the Batman fan in me that's just kind of like
No, I get you because this is the character that's in the Lego movie. It would be dishonest to the Lego movie to not have
Right.
some element of its portrayal there. But as someone who just heard that Ben Affleck is no longer directing the Batman movie, I'm like, I just want one good Batman. Like, I want to have a serious Batman.
it's clearly
have
a
being one good
Batman
movie.
caricature. They've
yeah,
just
yeah. It's
elements
definitely
of
Batman
exactly-
caricature.
Easily,
So it was just
easily.
something that I guess I had to just get over. I guess it may not be the Batman that I love, but it's a great tribute to the character.
Mhm.
So, but
I think that's a good way of putting it. This movie's a really great tribute to Batman.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
people were talking online. There's a Polygon article. It was like, is Lego Batman a parody or not? And I don't think it's a parody. I feel like it is a straight up tribute. In the same place, like, you know, obviously there are elements of it that it's parodying. It's calling attention to a lot of the tropes. There's a lot of stuff there, but it's not making fun of Batman as much as it is a homage, a tribute.
It's having
to this
fun
character. Yeah.
with Batman.
And I feel like-
Exactly. Yeah.
one of the things I was going to point out is that like something that really was like a moment for me as a longtime fan is like, you know, at the end, Batman's supposed to go up to the Phantom Zone, and Robin's there, and he's like, you know what, you know, sometimes people, you know, sometimes people have to leave. Sometimes people go from your life, and it doesn't mean you stop doing it. And like for that character who's like never actually addressed the whole thing of his parents dying. You know, like even in movies, that's just kind of a background event that happens. He doesn't ever address like, you know what, sometimes that's just what happens to you. Your parents die in an alleyway when you're 8 years old. Someone shoots them in the head, and that's it. And I was like, that's such. It was really heartwarming, especially coming from Batman, whose whole thing is like, I can't get over this moment. I can't, like, physically. If Batman gets over his parents dying, he's done. He's no longer Batman. He's just a normal dude. He's just a normal dude who went through a tragedy. The fact that he can't get over it, like the fact that he chooses to get over his parents' death by being Batman, is what makes that character so fascinating. It's like he's what we all wish we could do in tragedy, right? Like when we're confronted with something, we have to move on and, you know, and like kind of accept that this is our life now. But Batman can change his entire life around and go beat people up in order to make sure that he doesn't think about it again. And this movie plays on that. It's like, listen, you can't just ignore being a part of the family forever. You can't just like be afraid of this one thing, you know, for the rest of your life. You do need to let people in.
Yeah, and when it comes to the morals and the whole point of the entire movie, I think that the Lego Batman movie does it a little bit better than the Lego movie. Not to say the Lego movie didn't do it well. Don't get me wrong. I just think that, as you guys were saying, because it's Batman saying this specific message,
right?
I feel that it's done a lot more. I don't know. I can't put it into words. I just think that they did it.
People are more likely to pay attention to it because it's like a popular character.
Sure, but I mean, it's also
possibly
it's a character that like this morals is really treated that character. And I keep saying this over and over again because I feel like other movies try to shoehorn morals into characters a lot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this one, it doesn't feel like it's shoehorning. It makes so much more sense. In fact, it's
natural.
More sense than not happening in other movies.
I know a lot of people who, like, I don't agree, but I know a lot of people feel like the Lego movie's moral was shoehorned in. Because it was like, you have this whole movie that's, like, comedic, and then at the very end, you gotta, like, get real for a sec. But the Batman movie had it interwoven very elegantly, I feel, to where nobody can make that criticism. Because it was there at the start, from like as soon as they got done beating up all the villains, you planted the seeds, and then you reaffirmed it through the movie. Right when he was starting to warm up to his new family, he went cold again, and then you had them go through some strife, and then you brought it back up at the end for resolution. Like a 3-step reinforcement,
and it makes like it builds not just on what you've seen in the movie, but everything you've ever heard of Batman. Every like the 70 years of character. That's what it builds upon. Is this kid, you know, who is screaming in the alley after watching the movie.
The one single joke I felt that was forced in there, at the absolute very, very, very end of it, was the snake clowns. I think that's the only time I felt, well, okay, I didn't need to see that. I don't think that had a place being here. It wasn't particularly a funny joke to begin with for me, and it didn't get any better at the end. I didn't feel like... I understand they were trying to go for a payoff. I think they even directly said that.
Yeah, he mentions like, oh yeah, let's pay this off.
Wrap up these loose ends.
I wasn't looking for payoff. I did not care at all. I think that's the only time it felt forced for me. Everything else was masterfully done.
Yeah. Snakes weirded me out. I was just like, what the heck are those?
Some comic references you guys might not have got missed. There is when they go to the North Pole, Superman's Fortress of Solitude. They go there's a sign that says Ferris Airlines, which is the airlines that Green Lantern's girlfriend Carol Ferris runs. So that was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Also, at the end, right before when Robin's like, what would Batman do? He gets into the Nightwing costume.
I noticed that. I spotted that right away.
Okay, yeah. So you guys knew about that.
I saw that.
Obviously, there's a bunch of characters that are referenced again and again. I'm trying to think. I made a mental list, but I lost a lot of them.
The word work, I think, was really funny because at the very beginning you see the plane. It's like, we're flying MacGuffin Airlines.
Right, MacGuffin Airlines is a great one.
I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes of that movie.
It was just the song. The song.
Oh, of course. We're gonna punch these people really hard, so hard that the words will appear.
Okay, that was outstanding.
That was great. That was so amazing.
Good
Yeah.
movie.
I actually okay. So there's one element that I felt was not. I thought they were building up to didn't get resolved. One was that the computer thing. I don't know what that was. Computer thing references that her boss is going to be angry, and I'm like, who is the boss?
Yeah.
Who's her
And
boss?
Then, like, the boss just never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah,
Never saw who that was.
That was weird.
Maybe it's
Um,
the future plot.
Finn's sister.
That'd be cool if it was like actually.
Maybe,
real
But why
maybe
would
it
the
was maybe it's his
sister-
mom who like takes away all the bad like the villain characters because she's tired of like the kid flying with him or
Maybe.
something.
That's true.
Um,
The bad
Possible.
guy's gotta be locked up. Okay. Voldemort. It was hilarious. He used actual Harry Potter spells, Wingardium Leviosa, obviously the iconic one,
Yeah.
levitation,
Accio
Accio, the summoning
Lightning.
charm, Accio Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
No, and I noticed he didn't use Avada Kedavra, the
Yeah.
killing curse, his signature move, but he did fire the green bolts that are supposed to be the killing curse. So like,
it's
he's
funny
my
because
gosh.
I was like, why
Green
didn't he use a
flashes
killing
of
curse? And I'm
light.
like, oh yeah, because you don't kill in this movie.
Yeah, basically.
But apparently there's a Suicide Squad, so what's that tell you?
That is true.
Never did I think that Voldemort would be fighting Batman.
I did also think like I was wondering where the girl was the remote thing was showing Batman's like bad stuff Batman's done. She showed some scenes from the movie, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna show some things that he did in other movies too, or like other like
that would have been
mistakes that happened.
hilarious.
Like imagine they show him like abandoning like Jason Todd or something, or like just like
Beating
really
people up
cool
in
meta
they
BBS.
show
moments.
the entirety of
blowing up
BVS. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're just so like the logo of it. And that's it.
Or like someone like yeah, literally they brand someone with the thing. That would have been perfect.
Oh,
I do like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Man,
good
this-
golly
so that
gosh.
those are only things I always thought were going to be expanded upon, but I mean the Phantom Zone is just when you go into the Phantom Zone, they sing the Phantom Zone. You know, as Raymond's like, it's just the movie's so great and creative and wrapping everything in.
It's just so fun. Like, it is really just such a fun movie.
Yeah.
If you
I
go
love
through
it when
this
movies,
movie
like, have fun
without
with
cracking a
things.
smile, at least you
I don't
Yeah,
know.
why?
go
Yeah.
away. Go
It's
hide
the
in a
humor.
closet.
The humor is smart humor. I can't get over that. I want that to be a staple of the Lego movies. I hope they never
Yeah.
give up that thing where they start going, or like Shrek. Shrek did the thing where the first movie, good movie, some pop culture references, it gets bogged down by potty humor and pop culture by like the third and fourth
Bogged
film.
like a swamp.
Yes.
Ah.
I'm so clever. But like, I hope that this stays with the Lego franchise going forward. And I hope this is well at the box office. I don't know what the return on it's going to be. I hope it's going to be huge, you know?
I hope it's gonna be good.
I wonder like if the same thing's going to happen to the Lego Batman sets. Are they going to be sold out, you know? I've no idea. But-
Okay, that is one thing. Like, harkening back to that whole, a lot of the sets don't play into the movie thing. When I finished watching the Lego movie, I wanted to go get some of the sets. In fact, I did. I went to the store and I picked up a set. This movie did not convince me to buy any of the sets because of how little influence the majority of them had.
Agreed.
And the big
Man,
ones that did have
I don't know, man. I
play,
kind of want to
they're
pick
too
up a
expensive.
I don't
Scuttler
know.
now.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's, like, the
I
only
don't
one.
know.
This is for me, I guess, because I'm not a Batman
I agree
fan. I
completely.
didn't want to buy
There's
them.
like,
Yeah.
there's nothing. What I do want to do is buy collectible minifigure packs.
That
But
is
I
true.
don't want to. I don't want to buy any of the sets except Lowrider, because that was
The Lowrider is just looks good.
Yeah,
and
I'm still
mainly
the
because
Bat
Harley
plane
Quinn
I
and
felt-
Joker got the
sets.
most screen time.
I feel like the Bat plane got a good amount of screen time to where you actually saw him using that Bat plane.
That is true.
or the Bat silhouette
It's
quite a lot.
just really expensive. That's
It
what
is
they
it is
say.
horrifically expensive.
Batplane
yeah.
and Batmobile got good amounts. It's got
I will say
I didn't want to buy sets prior. The movie didn't convince me, but that's a personal
it's
thing.
funny because it's the opposite for me. I did not leave the Lego movie wanting to buy the Lego movie sets, except for maybe Brickbeard. That was the only one.
Yeah,
I, like,
honestly, yeah.
everything
I was
else-
kinda
or
same,
Metal Weird, sorry,
same way
yeah.
with the Lego movie.
coming
I
out
wanted
of
to
the
buy
Batman.
all the sets that
Ooh,
hadn't
boy.
come out yet, like Emmett's construction back, and I was like, oh, I can't buy that. That's wonderful. I
Yeah.
gotta wait a few months.
So far neither of the movies have made me really want to buy sets, but the Ninjago trailer has like only the trailer. It's like, man, I really want that
Well, okay.
dragon.
The
I
Lego
actually think
movie
that the
made me
Ninjago.
want to go pick up a random Lego set, not specifically
Yeah,
a Lego
exactly.
movie
Right,
set.
right.
Like it got me like, man, I haven't bought Lego in a while. You know, after that movie, I want to build stuff. You know, but
I do feel Ninjago is going to solve this problem we're having where it's like, oh, the sets don't appear in the movie a lot. From what it's looking like, we'll at least get a really cool action sequence with the sets we're going to get from the Ninjago wave. You know, with all the mechs going out and like doing all this stuff. So I actually do think that the Ninjago movie will solve a lot of the problems we're having with like connecting the sets to the movie. And I hope that will result in a lot of sales coming from the Lego Ninjago movie and like having that line do really well.
Because far, Lego's two great movies for different reasons. The first Lego movie, it banked a lot upon Lego, the concept, creativity, imagination.
And a lot of pop culture too.
And a lot of pop culture references. Lego Batman movie wasn't so much about comic references, but it was more about pop culture. Batman knowledge, Batman references, Batman character, Batman jokes, and also just general villains and stuff. The Lego Ninjago movie cannot really do either of those things. So I'm really interested to see where the appeal is going to be. They're really going to have to do a good story.
About that
their comedy.
I was worried about it, but you know what? I was actually really worried about it yesterday. I saw the trailer. It had been out for a couple hours. It had like 200,000 views, and I was like, okay, that's okay. And about 73 comments on Reddit. And I was like, okay, it's all right. I guess it's not getting that much attention. Today, it was trending on YouTube. It's got over 1 million. I might even be closer to 2 million views at this point.
Yeah, it was like 1.7 last I checked.
Yes.
It was a very intelligent decision to make it the third movie they release. Because now I think where it's going to make its money will be on reputation alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they have established themselves twice over as being able to tell really good stories in their movies, and with a lot of good production value, good comedy, and stories with heart, and people will go see Ninjago just because of that, and they will be exposed to the world of Ninjago. So.
Right.
Great.
And
Batman was awesome. Everybody should go see it. Even if you're not a Batman fan, at least you'll understand. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
We'll get some comedy out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, any closing comments?
It's good.
It was neat and stuff.
The best DC Comics film released this decade.
Yeah.
Like literally, I don't want to see the Justice League movie. I just want to see the Lego Justice League movie. That's what I want right now. Honestly, 100%. I don't even want to see a new Batman movie because Ben Affleck has passed on directing it. That was the only DC movie I was really excited for.
There are rumors that because of him stopping directing it, it's getting a complete reworking from the ground.
Yeah, that's what I was reading that news today, where it's like they're getting a new script, they're doing it all over again, and it's like, okay, so DC Universe, you had one big thing people were looking forward to, you screwed it up. The Lego Justice League, they should go forward to that movie. They honestly should. They should look at this movie, how it's doing. They should look at their failing franchise and be like, how do we build goodwill with the fans again? Let's do like a really smart, clever, like reference parody, you know, like homage thing, the 70 years of the Justice League.
I'd do it. I'd watch it.
I think it's a perfect way to go.
I just want to see Iron Man in a Lego movie going, all right, password, Batman sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, oh my god.
Lego is the only avenue we could ever potentially get Marvel versus DC.
I want that so bad. Can you imagine if that was the plot of the Lego Justice League movie, that they faced off their greatest enemies, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe? How many minds would be blown by that? Like seeing all these iconic characters fight against each other, like in a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of deal, you know, where it's like, oh, the cartoon characters coming together. Imagine that deal happening. Amazing. Love it. Anyhow,
I really don't have any closing comments other than just go see it. Like,
yeah,
you just gotta see it.
Just do it.
I agree.
Just do it. You lose nothing.
It's looking great for the Ninjago franchise because that's coming. I'm looking forward to that so much. Lego as a whole, that brand is in good hands. I'm no longer concerned about without Phil Lord, Chris Miller, is it going to do good? It's going to be amazing. Loving everything coming out of that franchise.
Any closing thoughts of it?
Just kind of rehash what I've said already. As a Lego fan, this movie is great. As a Batman fan, this movie is great. And if you're a fan of both, this movie is going to be especially great. But if you're not a fan of any of this, you're still going to appreciate it. You're still going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's a great movie. It's a solid movie.
I guess the only thing we forgot to talk about was Barbara Gordon and Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the Joker and Batman. Let's talk about that real quick.
Relationships.
So
dynamics.
They did do a really funny thing because like a lot of the movies with the Joker and Batman now focus on like, oh, okay, the nature of Batman and Joker's relationship. They literally took that from The Dark Knight, made it an actual relationship. Where it's like they have to say, I hate you. You know, it's like the whole...
The counseling.
I hate
counseling.
you too.
You're too good for this
You've
guy.
never told me you hated me before.
Yeah. He was like,
Come on, I
Batman
can
will
say-
never change.
Listen, I'm gonna say it, Batman. I hate you. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
boo. Just that whole thing, man. It was so great. And like they played on like the you know, like that kind of deal. Also, Robin like thinking he has two dads too, of Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Oh my god.
They're like not
I went from
realizing
having
they're the
one
same
dad to no dads to two dads.
It's just so great.
And
of course-
towards Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon. I was worried about it a little bit when we talked about it because I'm like, oh, it hasn't worked right. And they perfectly referenced that. And he was like, yeah, you know, it's me and my son and my father figure and my platonic coworker that's also happens to be female. It's great. Just everything's fun. And then he does that thing where he like kind of flirts with her and she immediately drops him. He's like, yeah, I deserve that.
Yeah. It was really great. The characters were
Yeah.
absolutely on point. From
Absolutely.
start to finish.
The end.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else?
Close us out, Jay.
Understood. Thank you all very much for listening. Feel free to leave all your thoughts, comments, and opinions in the comments below or on the TTV message boards at board.ttvchannel.com. Don't forget to go ahead and check out our Patreon, which is patreon.com/TTVchannel, as well as all of our other fun little things that will be either in the description or annotations on screen. Thank you all very much for listening, and I've been LJ.
I've been Meso.
I've been Jonathan.
I've been Ven.
And I've been purple.
And we're all Batman now. Thank you all very much for
This has
listening.
been TTV.
Okay, this has been TTV Reviews, the Lego Batman movie. Is that proper, Messa?
Sure.
Man, I want to see this
Okay.
movie again.
Yeah, I kind of do too. Thank you all very much for listening. See you all next time. Farewell.
See ya.
Bye.